We couldn't have had it better than having such a personality in our midst. Like my chairman said, we want to appreciate you so much for taking out this time to rub minds with us in areas of common interest. We are not unmindful of your very busy schedule. And we are so happy that we'll be hearing from you authoritatively right from the grapevine. And also want to welcome our distinguished colleagues from all over the world. We have did our rehearsals concerning this meeting, and I want to believe everyone is going to adhere strictly to our game plan, so that at the end of the day, we're going to end up with so much goals, many goals. It's going to be a goal galore today, but of information. And we want to talk business and also see how we can partner with our mother body, which is the NFF, ably represented here by the chief scribe himself. It's so easy. I'll be moderating this meeting. And because of time, we have collated some questions which we have passed on to our distinguished guest lecturer, which I'm sure is going to do serious justice to. All we get to do is just be attentive and listen, take our notes. Then at the end of the question session, which the guest lecturer would have handled, then we'll have as much time to do an interactive back and forth observation and responses. So gentlemen, again, I welcome you, and I am so pleased and I have the delight to call on the distinguished NFF Secretary General, Dr. Mohammed Sanusi, to please take the floor. You're welcome, sir. Can you unmute the SG?
I'm going there now.
Chairman, unmute the SG.
Yes, I'm trying to unmute him now. He should unmute himself. Okay.
You can do that.
Let me do that now.
Doctor. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, the chairman and the members of intermediary. We have a lot of respect for you, and that's why I said I must squeeze out time out of my schedules to attend to you people. I'm very sorry. I thought it was going to be yesterday. It escaped my mind. You know, that's why I was in the bank, and immediately Nasiru reminded me. I quickly jumped and left the bank. So I'm very sorry for the mix-up and for the delay. I must say that as intermediary, I have had a cause to interact with some of you. And it was very, very pleasant. You voluntarily decided to register as intermediaries by applying to the General Secretary, which is a normal procedure, seeking for permission to register as intermediary. And of course, when your application was preliminarily considered, you were asked to submit 4-size photographs of yours, and of course, the certificate of good character from police, because of the experience we have had with so many of people who claimed to be intermediaries, but under the guise of that, they perpetrate a lot of crimes. And of course, the payment of the statutory fees, which you all know. So these are the issues we have, and after scaling through these hurdles, we are happy that you people that are here have been able to be registered as intermediaries. Additionally, not only that you are registered as intermediary, because we also decided to come up as an association so that you can handle issues that have to do with intermediary. What you have done by forming this association, of course, is to assist us in making sure that if we have issues, the issues are being addressed before probably we even go into it. So we thank you very much for forming this association. As an interactive session, I would wait to hear if you have any questions or observations or anything that you want us to address, because it is not just a lecture, but an interactive session. And that's why we have not actually taken a topic to say this is what you are going to write and speak on. So Chairman, I hand over the baton to you. the microphone to you so that you can direct affairs of this discourse.
Chairman, unmute yourself. Chairman, please unmute yourself.
Hello, everybody.
Good, can hear you now.
Okay. So basically, can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you, go ahead.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
at this moment, I would like us to, first of all, listen to the topic for today that we really want the Secretary General to take a look at for us and dissect it so that we can all understand is what is the role of Nigeria football intermediaries in the development of football in Nigeria. Can you hear me, sir? Hello, sir.
Hello?
Can you hear me, sir?
Chairman, you have to take that again.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, sir.
Can you hear you?
Yeah,
Please
so
repeat it.
I was saying that the topic for today that we would like you to help us do justice to is, what do you consider, or what does the NFF consider as the role of Nigeria football intermediaries in the development of football in Nigeria?
Well, Mr. Chairman and members, I must say that the role of football intermediaries, as far as football development is concerned, cannot be overemphasized. This is because the norm now is for the players to appoint somebody who will represent them when they want to sign contract, which is known as intermediary. And you know that we have players who are not well informed. And so if you are not well informed, you need somebody who has the capacity and the ability to stand in for you and talk on your behalf so that you will not be cheated. Just like we have always been saying, being an intermediary is not a compulsion. We cannot force any player to appoint an intermediary, but we have always encouraged that players should also do what is needful by appointing intermediaries who can talk on their behalf. When you have a second party or a third party intervening in what you are doing, you also have a witness in addition to you signing the contract. So when our players go out and they go out, ethically in the right way, we have confidence that they will not go there, instead of concentrating on football, they will be concentrating on rancor and fighting, which will be detrimental to their progress. And by the time we have our players in our local leagues, in our professional leagues outside Nigeria, we may end up having players that are better. So that is why intermediaries are very important as far as football development is concerned. They don't play the game of football, but they play a part that is very important in the psychological well-being of players. Because if a player is to be in charge of going to discuss his contract, is to go, and if there is any conflict, he is going to go and handle it, then he will be distracted. And that will also count against the player.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, can I come in? Thank you, our distinguished lecturer. You have just put in a nutshell what a apt summary of what our roles are supposed to be. And we've heard from the horse's mouth. Thank you also for reminding us of the background of our membership, how the NFS have screened and considered us fit and the privilege we have given officially to form an association of this magnitude with over 120 members counting, and we're growing in every aspect of the business and the game. So our distinguished lecturer, we had sent advanced questions to you, but because of your very busy schedule and the mix-up in this schedule with your own thoughts, we are going to try as much as possible to then recount or read the questions back to you, to the hearing of everyone, and hope, we trust you more than capable to give us the best answer, even if the question might be coming to you impromptu. So, Mr. Chairman, I would please ask that you read the first question, and then we'll take it up from there. Thank you.
Let's bring in Nasiru Jubril from this point. Nasiru, our Ibu Nasiru asked the question, so he can ask the question directly to the, let me unmute Nasiru. Nasiru, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Chairman.
Okay, please, the questions that we sent to you, can you please help us in, because you are with the SZGen, please, can you pass it to him on the number, on according to the numbers?
Chairman, when did you send question to me? Me, I didn't see any questions to, huh? I'm kidding. Okay, I have them. I'm kidding, I have them.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chairman. So the first question they are asking here is that with the recent federal government reclassification of sports from recreation to business, what step is the NFF making to make football a lucrative business in Nigeria?
Well, on our own part, even before the pronouncement, as a specialist in physical and health education, I know that sports is more than recreation. It has gone beyond recreation. We talk of sports as a recreation centuries back, when the modern Olympic Games was revived by Baron Perry de Coubertin, the revival of the modern Olympic Games at the Mount Olympia in Greece, when he said the essence of sports participation is not about winning, it's not about the money, it is about the prestige that it brings to the participant and also to the nation. Gradually, that prestige started manifesting into political, from political to financial and economic. And that is why you see players nowadays taking sports as their main business. If you look at the sporting market, it is one of the lucrative sports in the world. I will just limit myself to football, which is the area we're discussing. Football is more than recreation to not just Nigeria, but the whole world. In Nigeria, when we reduce it to our localities, I will just take 2 states as an example. Kano State, for example, has over 1,000 clubs. And each of these clubs has a manpower engaged of not less than 40 people. If you look at that number and multiply it by more than 1,000 clubs, you can now see the number of people that are being gainfully employed through football in Kano alone. Now, by so doing, football has helped in reducing the burden of unemployment in Kano. By so doing, football has helped in also empowering the player and his family. Now, those who pass through you, either through local leagues or international competitions, as the case may be, have had opportunities to empower themselves, empower their friends, empower their families, and those who are very fortunate, even empower the country by bringing in foreign exchange investing into businesses, housing businesses, hotel businesses, eatery businesses, and a lot of it. Whereas before now, sport does not have the capacity and ability to do that. And that is why you see many people now would rather want their children to go and play football or to go and take part in sports than to go and study. We have always been against that. But on our own part, we say it is better to combine education with school so that you can be a better player.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm sure our distinguished doctor is saying is that football, as it is right now, is a mega business. And if you look at the recent budget or expenditure by FIFA's estimation, it runs into millions of and billions of dollars all over the world. But sir, the second part of that question is, if I may recap, is what is the football house doing to support this beautiful picture you printed in terms of policy and as it affects us as businessmen attached to this sector?
What the Nigeria Football Federation has done is to make sure that policies are drawn and judiciously followed. There are stages of engagements. We make sure that the stages of engagements are judicially followed. If a player is to be engaged by a club, we make sure that contract is signed between the player and the club that the player is going to. We also make sure that if the player is leaving the shores of Nigeria, the player, concerned and the clubs that are interested enter into mutual agreement. And the mutual agreement involves them agreeing on the terms and conditions that will have to be met. And such terms and conditions will have to be met. And on our own part, we will do the needful as the regulatory body. On the other aspect, of course, is to ensure probity and accountability in the way we handle the affairs. So when we talk of probity and accountability, it is not just about money. It is even about the administration. So we try as much as possible to put in structures that are flawless. We cannot have 100% flawless, but also such that if you want to move out, the rules are there for you to move freely without any encumbrances via whoever you choose to be your intermediary. So on our own part, to cut everything short, is that we ensure there is proper policy of engagement and execution of whatever plans we have.
Thank you very much. I think you've done justice to that question. And like Oliver Twist, we want to continue to ask for more, that the Federation would also, in your policies, try to consider us the intermediaries in whatever way you can enhance and assist us in working together with you to make sure that the football sector is lucrative and, like you said, creates employment and is good for all of us. At this junction, I would go to the next question and ask our distinguished Malam Nasiru to please read out the second question. Thank you. Hello, is Malam Nasiru hearing me? Hello? Please, Chairman, make sure you've unmuted him, just to be sure.
Yeah, he has. He just unmuted me now.
Okay,
so,
good.
Yes, the second question here, sir, is with the heavy private investment by intermediaries on both upcoming and professional players, what is the NFF doing to protect our business, I think businesses and investments, as perhaps everyone become an agent in this? Is this in full accordance with the FIFA player status? I would like the General Secretary to answer this question, but before I hand it over to him, I would like you to understand this, guys, that intermediaries, when you make investment on players, you are doing so at your own risk.
Nasiru.
Yes, sir.
Nasiru, Let me
Yes, I can hear
answer
you,
it
sir.
first. Let me answer it first before you talk.
Okay, sir.
I want to say that it is unethical and unexpected for an intermediary to make investment on a player. A player is supposed to pay you for the job you have done for him. So you are not expected to invest on a player because you don't own player. Players are owned by clubs, but not by individual. There is no rule that says players can be owned by individual. So if you don't own a player, you cannot make investment in player.
Okay, very good. So, Malam Nasru, can you give us the second leg and throw some more light on what the guest lecturer has said? Hello? Chairman, please make sure Malam Nasru is unmuted.
Yeah, he is. It's not.
Okay, maybe he's a little bit busy with something.
Let me find where he is. Okay, let me.
So
The chairman keeps muting me, and then he will say that he has not muted me. You did, chairman.
just leave him unmuted.
You did. You muted me, and I was struggling to unmute myself. Well, yes, I was trying to give the explanation, but already the General Secretary has said it clearly that you people need to understand that if you are an intermediary, it is not your responsibility to run a player. It is not your responsibility to pay the salaries or allowances or whatever of the player. It is not. If you do so, you do so at your own risk. So if tomorrow a player you are managing decides that he's going to a club and the club signs him, there is absolutely nothing you can do, because an intermediary or an individual cannot own a player. You need to understand this. So it is always safer for you guys not to commit a lot of your monies in running footballers. Of course, I know what Nigeria is, and I know how it has always been with agent having to pay some allowances or feed players, but it is very unethical, and it is not the right thing to do. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the very clear answer and the emphasis. I want to thank you, Malam Nasru. The last time we had you on board here, you also gave us this very, very strong information. And I hope all our membership here have learned this, that we should not expect so much in our investment as per quid pro quo when it comes to taking care of footballer. But then in-house, want to encourage everyone. It's a passion apart from being a business that we continue to lend a helping hand where we can. Then, but we know where to draw the line. So on that note, we want to say that question has been taken care of. If it has to be revisited during the extra time, we'll do that. So I will call on Malam Nasru to quickly go to the next question because we are pressed for time. Mr. Chairman, make sure Malam Nasru is unmuted again.
He is. I think something.
You just did.
You just did.
Chairman, the thing is, every time I finish talking, I would like to mute myself because I have people in the office too. So I wouldn't want how to have.
So that's what is going on. So when he finishes talking, he mutes himself. So I have to unmute him again. So please bear with us.
It's okay.
Okay. So I'm going to question number 3 to the General Secretary. Sir, Mr. Ayo Akerele is asking, how best can FIAN, that is the Association of Intermediaries, work with the LMC and the NNL towards players' transfers within the league using the FIFA TMS without conflicts between club owners and the officials? How best can FIAN work with LMC and NNL towards players' transfers within the league using the FIFA TMS without conflicts? General Secretary, sir. Hello, sir.
I think he was.
Ayo.
Well, he's coming back. I think maybe the general secretary was changing something, so he's just joining again. I think
Okay.
it was cut off, but he's joining us again now. Just hold on.
Okay.
So please re-ask your question, please.
Okay. Once he's on, you can let me know.
Okay.
But is he on now, or can I say
Hold on,
a word
I'm
or
trying
two on
to
this?
locate him. I've already brought him back in, but let me see if he's come join us again. It's coming. Okay, SG is back now. Let me unmute SG. He's back now. Okay. Please go
Okay,
ahead.
so I can now repeat the question, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Hello, sir.
I'm repeating the question again.
Yes.
I'm reading the question again by Mr. Ayo Akerele. He is asking the General Secretary to give them tell them how best they can work between the Intermediaries Association of Nigeria, the National League, Nigerian National League, and the League Management Company, using the FIFA DTMS and the TMS without conflicts between clubs and the owners.
Well,
Yes.
our on is to just encourage the players to engage the services of intermediary. We cannot force any player to use an intermediary, because if we do that, we are breaching into their fundamental human rights. What we just need to do is to encourage them to please use the services of intermediary. And of course, it's also to talk to the leagues, to encourage the players to realize that when you have somebody talking on your behalf, you are likely to get a better offer. What you will give to that person is not much compared to the value that the intermediary will bring to you. But as I said, it will tantamount to breaching in the fundamental human right of players if they are forced to take intermediary.
Okay, thank you. I think the question is as simple as the answer, very brief, and it's connected to the past two questions. So, like we said earlier, we'll only plead with the NFF to continue to give us that encouragement, continue to give us that backing, continue to give us that official recognition, even without letters, that we are doing the right thing. And we want to also assure you that we have strong mechanisms in place, that our members are disciplined, and will spare no rod if anyone is reported to have contravened the FIFA statutes or even infringed on the fundamental human right of our players. So thank you again, our distinguished lecturer. I'll call on Malam Nasiru to please quickly go to the fourth question. So Chairman, don't forget to unmute Malam Nasiru.
I'm looking for him. I'm muting him now again.
Yes, I'm unmuted by the chairman, sharp now.
I've done that, sir.
Okay, the fourth question is from Michael Chuma of Unix Sports. He is asking, what is the NFF doing to creating a setting where only or mostly NFF registered intermediaries empowered to represent and broker contract deals between players and clubs in Nigeria for better professionalism and standard? This question is...
This question is similar to the one I have just answered.
Yeah.
We are not powered by law to regulate who a player will bring as somebody who will talk on his or her behalf. A player can decide to bring even his father to say, look, this is the one that is going to talk on my behalf. But what we have been doing based on experience, as I said, is to encourage these players to use the services of people who are expert, who are trained to handle issues of, their employer and employee as far as football is concerned. We have noticed in the past that people came with all sorts of antics in the name of intermediary. So if you know is coming to act as an intermediary, then we'll try to find out if you are actually a registered intermediary. But if you are coming to say, look, I'm coming to discuss on behalf of social person, he has empowered me to do so, then we cannot say we will not deal with you because you are not a registered intermediary. But if you now come to present yourself as intermediary, registered with the Nigeria Football Federation, we are duty bound to check and make sure whether you are a registered intermediary or not. But the truth is that without being told, players are now becoming more educated to understanding the fact that there is a need for them to use professional intermediaries. So without being forced, players are now becoming more inclined into adopting intermediaries. But the major problem we have been having with intermediaries again is issue of unethical attitude, where the intermediary will tend to cheat players, and by so doing, the confidence is eroded. So what you need to do also is to make sure that you on your own part live above board, so that any player who interacts with you will be happy that he has interacted with intermediary, and will even go and encourage other players, look, if you use an intermediary, you will not have problem. But where a player uses an intermediary and they end up in court or they end up having problem, then it scares players away. So it is you who will now make them either trust you or mistrust you.
Thank you very much for the emphasis. And the guest lecturer, want to reassure you.
Piero. Hello, Piero.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to bring something to the attention of the Secretary General. My Honorable Sir, I have a player who currently just signed in the Polish league. And because I am not a registered intermediary in Poland, I am the official representative of the player. The player told them my name, gave them my details, that I am the one that will represent him. But the Polish FA said no, that only a Polish registered intermediary can represent player in their country. Why is Nigeria not doing something like this? They also belong to the FIFA Federation. And the same thing is taking place also in Switzerland. Why can't we do the same to protect the businesses of our own intermediaries?
It is most likely that if this issue is to go further to CAS, probably that might be overturned, because FIFA regulations are very clear as to the right of players. So if you actually want, you as a country, you can have your rules and regulations, and the supremacy of the rules and regulations are equally very important. But you also have to look at the global picture. It is most likely that if that player is to take the matter up, the decision could be overturned. But because of fear that, look, if I say I'm taking it up, probably the club will say, okay, they are not interested in me, so I must also dance their tune.
Very good.
I don't know if Nasur has anything to say.
Yes, Mr. General Secretary. I think this is absolutely the truth. Chairman, the fact that your player said you are his representative, and they insisted that they cannot use a representative that is not from Poland, does not mean because they do that it is the right thing to do. No, they did that because they took advantage of the fact that the boy might probably will not fight further than the Polish Football Federation. But it is absolutely, completely 100% wrong for a federation to impose an intermediary on a player, especially a player of international dimension. If the player was a Polish player and the deal is just between the Polish clubs, it's different. But you, the player, is a Nigerian player, you are a Nigerian, you are a Nigerian agent, you are registered, and you are certified agent of intermediary of Nigerian Football Federation. They have absolutely no rights to do that. And if you take up this case with people like the General Secretary said, definitely it will be overturned.
Thank you.
Well, and just for the record, you should also understand that for most of the deals that you have foreign players, foreign agents involved in Nigeria. It's not like the player is coming to Nigeria. It is like the player is going to Europe or going to their own countries. That's the situation. If we can say that if a Ghanaian player is coming here, we can say that no, we can only talk to you when you use a Nigerian agent. Yes, we can do that. And when we do that, the thing you can do, the thing the Ghanaian agent can do is come into collaboration with you, the Nigerian agent, and then you cut the deal together, you get something out of it. That's how it works. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I want to show you our guest lecturer that we have deliberately repeated this question for this kind of emphasis that will lead to rest once and for all. So many ambiguities some of us have concerning these issues. And if we leave the line open, I can assure you that there are so many other details we want to ask, but we'll leave it for another day. We want to stay on topic and then move on to the next question. And I'll please ask Malam Nasiru to read out the next question. Thank you.
Yes. The next question is question number 5 by Mr. Onogu Andy Okosi. He's saying, this is exactly what is written here: resolving contracts and entitlement conflicts between players and clubs is a bigger challenge in the development of the Nigerian Professional Football League. And sometimes intermediaries are in the center during these conflicts. Is there any conflict resolution committee or panel that deals with these arising conflicts when both parties fails to reach an agreement? And what is the NFF doing to enhance this mechanism?
Well, I can tell you that for long we have been having a statutory committee that is called the Ethics Committee, Players Status and Ethics Committee. We have the Ethics Committee and we have the Players Status Committee. The Players Status Committee deals with issues of conflict between players and their employee, between player and player, and everything that has to do with issue of contract of players. We also have Ethics Committee that is charged with the responsibility of checking on ethical things, and whoever is found guilty is punished in accordance with the laws establishing the game in Nigeria and FIFA. The Ethics Committee has its leadership outside Nigeria. It's a statutory committee, outside Nigeria football. It's a statutory committee made of people of proven integrity. For example, the chairman of the Ethics Committee of the Nigeria Football Federation was distinguished Alhaji Nuru Ribadu. You heard what happened in the case of a coach that was accused of something and the decision that was reached by the committee. It's an unbiased committee that cannot be influenced. We are also looking at the possibility of coming up with a conflict resolution chamber. That one is on the pipeline. We have not actually come up with that committee, but I can tell you that we are working seriously to make sure that areas that we think we need to improve on that, including that aspect.
Okay, thank you. Malam Nasiru, do you have a word or two to add to this? Because the question also has a leg that kind of want to clarify the role of intermediaries between these crossfires in the event of disputes. In our own association, we have our own mechanism internal, and we could enforce as much as our common understanding permits, but we are looking at it and looking at a situation or imagining if the NFF could in any way make use of our own little contribution or give us any ground to stand upon, or even invite us in terms of issues that we might be on the first line of witnessing.
Before Nasiru will talk, let me make it very clear that your own internal mechanism you have is for your association. You cannot extend it to the players. The rules are very clear as your relationship with the players. You can punish your members if they err. Based on what you have signed as your memorandum of understanding, of association memorandum of understanding, you can punish your players. But you cannot punish players because the law does not allow you to do that. The only thing you can do is to say that, look, nobody should be an intermediary to that player. It's within your power to say so. Just like it is within the power of the player to also say, I do not want intermediary, or this is the person I want as intermediary. So the only thing I can say is that with this kind of meetings, with this kind of brainstorming, probably we could find a solution to what we are looking for. Rome was not built in a day. We are just starting. Some countries, they started long, long ago before us, and that's why they are able to perfect their own system. We are just starting, and with this kind of meeting, as I said, we may likely do something better as time goes on.
Thank you very much. Malam Nasir, any word?
Yes, I agree 110% with the General Secretary. You need to understand that this the Player Status Committee, or the DRC, is really a specialized committee in any member association or even in FIFA. And it is absolutely not possible for you as an intermediary to sit in issues or to judge issues involving players and clubs, because, hey, everybody knows that you are going to be biased. You know that. Because you represent players, you will most likely go against the club. But even where you will be, where we think you will be just, you will need to also understand this, that already there's a body responsible for football policies and stops in a country, and this is Nigerian Football Federation. And we already have given you the leverage to form an organization or an association, your own association, that will help you control your own members. So it is what you taught your members, or the leverage you give your own members, that will help us greatly in the control of issues that we have between players and clubs. So you don't have to be members of the DRC or the Player Status Committee, or you don't have to be the ones to sit on the cases for us to know your contribution. We know already, because already we know you have about 120 members, and we know how well your organization is organized, is intact. I've been to the last election you held, and I've been to a workshop that you invited me for, where I was what do you call it? Well, I was a guest speaker or something like that, and I've seen how really organized you are. I think you are doing enough, and if by chance FIFA should say that now you can open membership to intermediaries to join and be delegates, I assure you the General Secretary will have no hesitation in recommending this to the President and to the Executive Council, to the Executive Board of Nigerian Football Federation. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to give an applaud on behalf of my entire membership. This matter has been long coming for us, and today, in the very mouth of the TMS manager of the Nigerian Football Federation, and as witnessed by the Secretary General, it is confirmed that NFF, contrary to certain fears within our rank, NFF fully recognizes us as a formidable body and partner in this business of football. Thank you very much. And if I may just chip in something that has bothered some of our minds for so long, which we have tactically covered, am I right to say, or ask, or conclude that as intermediaries, the FIFA status bars us or stops us from being members of any NFF policy-making committee or any organization that runs football in this country? That's to the best understanding of many of us. But we want to hear an authoritative clarification from you, because some of our members are urging us that we want more recognition from NFF, and we keep on within our ranks saying we've gotten the necessary recognition. We just have to expand our coast, and also to confirm for many of them that says, why are we not on the Congress or on the committees of NFF? Is it within the FIFA status, please?
You cannot be a member of our Congress of NFL because you are not an affiliate of NFL. You cannot eat your cake and have it. You cannot be a player intermediary and then expect to be a member of the Congress of Nigeria Football. Just like board members of Nigeria Football, staff of Nigeria Football Federation cannot be intermediary. There is conflict of interest. Because when there are issues, you go to secretariat, and people who sit down to take decision on policy, if they are now part and parcel of the people who also do the business, then there is conflict of interest. And this is just what FIFA is against, conflict of interest. You cannot be a member of the Congress of Nigeria.
Thank you very much. You could have not said it more. So guys, members, it is confirmed once and for all authoritatively that we should direct our strength to making our association bigger and better, that we are not permitted by law to be members of any NFF committee. So on that note, I want to thank you for the recognition. You've reconfirmed that we are at least recognized as partners, and then to confirm that we are not an affiliate of the Nigerian Football Federation. We are, we are not an affiliate. I want you to confirm this so that it will be clear to every one of us going forward.
Mr. Kevin, General Secretary has just confirmed that too. And if you are not recognized as a body, the General Secretary, the NFF, will not allow us to come to your functions.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
On that note, that one is ending happily. So I will request humbly Al Nasru to go to the next question because we are pressed for time. Thank you.
The next question. Oh my God, I've lost it. Where is this paper? 1 second, please.
Okay.
Yes, the next question is question number 6 by Ikechukwu Mbehi. He said the NFF issued intermediary registration certificate and website listing are our only means of identification as authentic intermediaries. Is this the same practice all over the world? General Secretary, sir.
Chairman.
The General Secretary, sir.
Chairman, check if the General Secretary is unmuted.
Okay, I've just been unmuted. I've just been unmuted. Well,
Sir, the question is the NFF issued intermediary registration certificate listed the names of intermediaries.
I want you to understand that we are not expected to get, it is, we are not expected to get involved directly in the affairs of the intermediary. But what we have done is to make sure that we also put the names of the intermediaries on our website so that whoever wants a credible intermediary that is known by Nigeria Football Federation, that is recognized by Nigeria Football Federation, can easily lay his hands on that intermediary and can have business with that intermediary, because by seeing the name of intermediary on the website of Nigeria Football, it means that that intermediary is recognized by Nigeria Football Federation and is seen as a credible person. In the past, in fact, not long ago, we still have cases in DSS where people came in the name of intermediaries and perpetrated all sorts of crimes, including forging embassy letters, including forging the signature of big shots in the Nigeria Football Federation to go to the embassy. So we are trying to weed out those bad eggs by not allowing them to be on our website. So whoever you see on the website of Nigeria Football Federation is to tell you that that person is recognized. And we have not delisted. We have not removed any name. You know the issue of web. Sometimes you encounter some technical problems. You look for information, you cannot see it. We have had some problems with our web, and we are working to correct it. We also know that our IT officer has been sick in the hospital for quite a long time, and we lost him. So we're having problem with our website, not that we delisted anybody. I don't.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that is
I don't know
straightforward.
if Nasiru has anything to add. Nasiru,
Chairman, please check on Nasiru's unmuting, please, always.
Nasu is fine. It's okay. Nasu can talk.
Yeah.
Nasiru, do you have
Okay.
anything to add?
Well, on the issue of in the issue of the intermediaries being on the website as being the only way of recognition, the only means of recognition by the NFF of them. It is true that before now you used to have the FIFA players license agent, which was quite gruesome to even get the certificate. You have to pass exams and all. So when this the rope a little bit, we will not keep it too tight. We will give people the opportunity to register and be intermediaries. But then again, you need to understand that an intermediary is recognized as somebody who is recognized and licensed by the Nigerian Football Federation to practice the intermediary job. That is the tax of getting clubs for players, the tax of negotiating employment contract, the tax of negotiating transfer agreement between clubs. But he is not a staff of Nigerian Football Federation. So if, like it is done before, when you have an agent and you give an agent a license, which shows like he works with the Nigerian Football Federation, because the agents before that is exactly what they do. They use the ID card to say that they are, like most of them say that they are like employed by Nigerian Football Federation. And then they go on to perpetrate all kinds of evils. I'm not saying that your members are evils, but we know that in every way, in every organization and every society, you cannot have everyone upright. But for us, in order to avoid that, we decided that no, it is enough for you to be on our website. If anybody has any issue with you thinking that you are not legit, all he has to do is go to the website and go to Google and just type intermediary list Nigeria Football Federation and you will find your name there. That's all you have to do. So we are sorry, for now it will have to remain like this, unless of course the General Secretary decides that we can now maybe give you well, that is different. But for now, this is how it is going to continue to be. You will be on the website of Nigerian Football Federation and you will have a certificate to confirm that you are registered intermediary of Nigerian Football Federation.
Look at to give you, if there is anything that does not contravene and do not execute. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guest lecturer. Please, I want to ask a little more in this case. Can we open probably a line of official communication to forward or a little bit pressure on our side or remind us now and then, because anything added to what we have, aside the NFF certificate and our listing, will be helpful for us in doing business. So I want to thank you very much, and we want to, at this point, please plead with your indulgence that we have overshot the 1 hour mark set. I want to beg for at least a few minutes more, as much as you can give us, and we hope you will oblige us so that we can also have our members have interactive and discuss advanced questions. The next one is going to be the last one. And after this, distinguished SG will plead with you to give us a few more minutes to really interact and fill the entire membership. So I'll call on Alan Nasiru to please read, I think, the last and not the least question. Thank you. Chairman Omut, Alan Nasiru.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's done.
Question?
I think I have the question here.
Okay.
But I must say that while answering the question, I also answered that one because it was talking about why the addresses were removed from the contract of the Nigeria Football Federation
Yes.
Intermediaries website listing. And how do you expect those that require services, both local and I think I have answered that.
Yes,
I said we have not had problems with our website. We will try and look at what we can. Nasru is here. Unfortunately enough, he is the one handling what we have now. So we'll look at what your complaints are. Whatever we can, as I said, at our own level, to give you more legitimacy, we will do that. It is important for us also have you listed so that our players will not fall prey of the bad eggs that cheat players.
Yeah, thank you very much. And if I may ask one more request, is it possible or feasible, if we'll not be demanding or stressing you too much, that when you start making up or putting up the contacts, telephone numbers and email, if our association could be given this little privilege to cross-check and update our information, because some of the information on the website before now became obsolete. Some have lost their telephone numbers, and they've been looking for this opportunity to get your distinguished organization to please help us update our data when the website is going to be upgraded. Thank you.
Mr. Kelvin, just check the website now. You will, but if anybody has any issues with his email or telephone number, almost every single one of you have my phone number and email. I assure you.
Oh, thank you very much.
May I also suggest, Nasru, that we should try as much can create problem.
Yes.
If anybody has any of his contract that need to be changed, I would rather suggest that you write your association, let your association put it, reduce it to writing and send to Nasru.
Thank you, brother.
So that nobody will come and say, no, I did not give this information. My information is correct. This was not what I gave. But if such information is to come from the body and with a letterhead paper, Nasru will have something that he can hold to say, look, this was sent to me by you through your association.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you very much. I think that is done. We've gone through the question, and I think we've taken the guest lecturer's time. Sir, without wasting much time, I want to get the chairman to please open the floor and please moderate for at least 2, 3, or 1 or 2, 3, 4 people to put in very concise questions, and then you unmute whose hands are raised up on the platform. And after that, we'll just round up and really appreciate the guest lecturer.
Okay.
So
thank you very much, everybody, for this important online section, and especially to our very, very important personality in the person of Dr. Sanusi Mohammed. I would like to call on just 3 maximum intermediaries. You already know the questions that have been asked, so please do not repeat questions. Just interactive, just 3 people to ask not more than 1 question each. I will do that by anyone that raises their hand up. I will select and I will unmute you to ask questions. So can I have your hands up if you want to ask questions?
You can do that on the platform.
Yes. So the first person this is the first person. Please go ahead and ask your question. And first of all, you say your name and the state you are calling from.
Okay, good evening, my distinguished colleagues, and good evening, Dr. Sanusi Amalan Nasiru. My name is Obure Anthony Chidozie. I'm calling from Lagos. My question goes like this. How do we ensure that the intermediaries are part of clubs and players negotiation, irrespective of the fact that a player is not mandatory to have an intermediary, but then an intermediary, the NFF can make the intermediaries part of players and club negotiations. Make it compulsory whereby a player can engage the service of an intermediary, the clubs can engage the service of an intermediary, the coaches can engage the service.
Okay, that's okay. I think that question is clear now. Can Anthony, that question is okay. I think the whole essence of it, we have got it. So please, that's question one. We're going to take Honorable Sir, let's take the 3 questions and then you can answer them at once so that we don't waste time. Next question, please. Anybody?
Okay.
Next question. I'm expecting one or two more questions before we go. Okay, so.
Can I ask a question, please?
Okay, please go ahead.
Can I ask a question?
Please go ahead.
Okay, just by the way, I just want to bring it to the notice of our boss at the football house that FIAN is planning to host a national youth football tournament. And what a better opportunity to ask or clarify so that we don't run foul to any law that as a body, given our status has been explicitly stated by the Secretary General, we have the right, or it's within our right or within the law for us to host as a body, collectively, a national youth football scouting tournament. Thank you. So you can call for the third question.
The third question now, the final question before we go. Okay, so the last question now is this person. Soccer Star, please ask your question. Unmute yourself and ask your question, please. Go ahead. Soccer Star.
Can you unmute him? Okay, good.
I've done that.
Okay, go ahead.
I said, Mr. Nasiru said something. Good evening, everyone. Mr. Nasiru said something about conflict of interest. My name is Idowu Ismail. My name is Idowu Ismail, calling from Benin Republic.
Okay.
Mr. Nasiru said something about conflict of interest, but I want to say something. I just want to put something through. There is this PA to the media of the minister. He's a journalist. I don't want to mention him, but he's still an intermediary. He broke some deal in Nigeria. What are they doing towards that?
Can I answer that now?
Yes, that is the last question. Anyway, that is the last question. So you can go ahead and answer the questions now, sir. Please go ahead and answer, sir.
I will start with the first question asked. And the first question has relationship with the last question. I told you that we cannot force any player. It is against the right of a player for us to enforce an intermediary on any player. We can only talk to them and request them to engage the services of intermediaries because they stand better chances of getting better contract and better everything. But the law does not allow us to say a player must give an intermediary before he's allowed to sign contract. It is very clear that we cannot go against FIFA regulations. As I said, it is your duty now to make sure you enlighten the players just as we do, and more importantly, for you to give them the confidence that when they use you, they are not going to regret using you. Where a player uses an intermediary and they end up in court, the next player will not want to use an intermediary. But where an intermediary uses a player and gets a better contract, and there is no breaches, and where the breaches are bound to happen, and the intermediary play his role of that intermediary by negotiating and make sure that there is no conflict, then you will now be encouraging the players to use intermediary. On the issue of the last question, we do not know that anybody is an intermediary if he did not register as an intermediary. And we do not get involved in who player brings assistance. So what you are saying to me is a speculation. You are just talking because I have not heard, I have not seen, and I will not talk on what I don't know. We are talking of what we know. You, the intermediaries, you have registered with us and we know you. So if a player now decides to go and bring his mother or decides to go and bring his wife to his intermediary, we cannot question that. It is not within our jurisdiction, within our power to question that. On the issue of scouting, you have, I don't want you to be jumping into conflict of interest, but I can say you can work with coaches, you can work with football administrators to achieve your aim, as long as that does not violate the expected norm and practices. So if Nasru has anything to add to this, I think Nasru, you can talk.
Okay, sir. I'm just going to talk on the last questions. You had was saying that how special a breed the intermediary is. The intermediary is so special that no one else can be an intermediary except an intermediary. And do you understand what I'm saying? If you are a doctor, like if you are a doctor working with Nigerian Football Federation or working with a football club or working with the state football FA, you need to also understand clearly. We said if you are working with a football related organization, so if the SA to the minister or PA to the minister or whoever you are saying is working in football environment, that is different. He is a journalist, you said, and he is working with the Minister of Sport. He is not working in a football environment. So he has the right to register himself if he wants to as an intermediary. That's number one. Number two, even if he doesn't register as an intermediary, he has the right, if a player who is his brother or his son or his cousin said to him, represent me, he can do that. But if he does that without the registration, it is also pertinent for you to understand that Nigerian Football Federation has the right to say, we will not work with you. But as long as he is not working in football environment, he is not working for a club, he is not a football player, he is not a coach, he is not a team doctor, football team doctor, and the likes, yes, he has the right to work as an intermediary. Thank you.
Okay, the other question asked by our PRO, can you please try and do justice to that, please? That
which one is that?
We are trying to organize. We want to organize a national scouting tournament, which will be done in.
Yes, if you are.
In Lagos,
yes, I've had that. Well, I thought the General Secretary would deal with it, but in any case, I will tell you that if we are organizing a tournament, the first and most important thing for you to do is to, number one, know that wherever you are hosting this event, you said now it's Lagos and Abuja, you first of all inform the state FAs there.
Okay.
And request their permission to go ahead and host this tournament.
Okay.
With that, you are covered, because with that, they can write us a letter. The state football, those state FAs, either Lagos or the FCT, can write to Nigerian Football Federation and confirm that yes, they know about this tournament and they have no issues with it, that we should go ahead and give you the permission to. We have no objection to it, really. And I'm sure the General Secretary, when you get that letter, when you send us that letter, the General Secretary will willingly let you have it, as long as you have the consent of at least those states where you are going to do the tournament, organize the tournament.
State Federation. Okay, thank you very much. At this junction, I would like to...
President.
Yes, sir.
President, remember I said, I answered that question, probably your attention wasn't there. I discussed it and I said that there is no problem in you organizing competition. But the issue is that whatever you are going to do, you must do it in accordance with the ethics of the profession.
Okay, sir.
What we are trying to avoid is conflict of interest. You can work with the coaches, you can work with anybody, as long as that does not violate. What we don't want is a situation whereby there is connivance between you and whoever you are going to work, unethically. But just like Nasiru said, any state you are going, the state must consent that social activity is going to take. Anybody can organize football as long as there is that approval from the host community. In that case, the FA.
Thank you very much for that clarification. At this junction, I would like to officially bring this August meeting to an end. So, but before I do that, I would like to unmute all my members so that we can collectively say a very big thank you to you for honoring us. We really appreciate it. And I shall, in future, after this meeting, would be soliciting and asking for your indulgence that you give me a one-on-one appointment to discuss other issues that we are unable to address here about the association, personally bringing the association to you in Abuja, sir. I hope it will be an honor for me to meet with you so that we can discuss further how we can collaborate and work according to the rules and regulations of the game, sir.
There is no problem, just work with Nasiru. Nasiru has my schedules to be able to organize that meeting for you.
Okay, sir. Okay, so I'm going to unmute everyone to say
Aha. Yeah. Go to you again. You have to come to me.
What did you say?
I said, Chairman, you have to come through me again.
I know. Yes, I know.
I'm just kidding. I know you know. I'm just kidding.
Yes, I will definitely have to go to you. You are my guy at the top of the ship. How you doing? So please, everyone, unmute yourself. I want you to say a big thank you to our Secretary General. Please unmute yourself. And I want you all to thank the General for.
Thank you very much.
Mun gode maka. Allah karba baka. Allah karaka.
Thank you to you, sir.
Kara maka girma.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
We appreciate your effort, sir. Big thank you to you, sir.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Sanusi.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Malam Nasir.
Have a good day.
Malam Nasiru ina gaisuwa. Allah karaka. Allah karba baka.
Very
Mun gode muku. Mun gode muku.
Thank you very much. Thank you.